Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Let's Talk About Market episode number 74. If we see the Nifty index today, it has seen a very strong move and it has been a good, in fact, I would say not just good, but it has been a great close for the year. Because if we see technically, almost around the highest point, there has been a yearly close, so that's a very positive sign. Apart from that, even from key support levels, the Nifty index has turned around. So all these are indicating good signs. In fact, even if we see yesterday's FI's positioning, that also again suggests that they are more or less bearish. So if we see, the environment now is perfect for a move. In all this time, we were a little, especially I was very hesitant of, giving some strong views because the market was more or less sideways and not giving us any indication, right? But I think today's move that I saw, it gave me some good vibes about it, and I feel that this time around we should be able to see the breakout happening. So again, fingers crossed. But we'll talk about the levels and what to watch out for. Please let me know once you are able to see my screen properly and once you are able to hear me. I'm just sharing the screen. Please, if someone can confirm if you all are able to hear me properly and see my screen properly. If yes, then we can get started. Meanwhile, I'm just opening the Nifty chart. Can someone please confirm? Okay, okay. Thanks a lot for the confirmation. Uh, see, one good thing that has happened today is that there is a bullish crossover now today after today's up move. And in fact, I was talking about this yesterday only, right? 40-day exponential is held, a doji is made. In fact, you see many other indices, right? Micro cap was at the support line, similar pattern over there, right? Forming a doji at the trend line support. In fact, I was talking about small caps, right? They were the strongest in that sense. And even if you see, today's performance as well, small cap has been very strong. So again, that is a good sign. And the positive part is that it has closed above the 40-day average, which it was unable to do so. I mean, over here there was a slight break above it, but in the next 2 days, it faced resistance around this level. So again, this is a positive sign. Mid cap index again, made a good comeback after breaking below the 40-day. So over here, 40-day might have not mattered much because it is anyways whipsawing over here. But the good part is that after giving signs of bearish crossover yesterday, it did not see a follow through on the downside, and rather it saw an up move. So this was again a very good sign. And in fact, for the Nifty index, as I was telling you, all important support levels are held. So all is good there. In fact, similar case with the small Nifty 500 as well. So broadly, if we see, in fact, the other good part was that the sentiment indicators, especially the short term one, right? I was talking about daily swing, that turned around from the 20 levels or so. In fact, just day before yesterday, it had gone to that oversold zone. So I'm talking about the daily swing. While it may not look like that it was in oversold zone, but while it was going down Nifty, at that time around during the day, it had come to that oversold zone, but from there we saw a turnaround. So again, this is a good sign, and it simply tells us that there is a room that is left on the upside in the near term. In fact, average swing as well, from there it has turned around. And if you all recall, few days back I had mentioned about this, right? That if at all the market has to move higher, then it will do something like this, and it will be around the higher range for longer period of time. And in this case, you might end up swing behaving something like this, and it might keep rallying. I'm expecting now this to happen, and I'm kind of strongly expecting that, because first thing is that the FI is positioning. I mean, that if you see, it is still minus 144. Now, of course, this data we'll have to adjust it, because now the lot size has changed to 65. So in that sense, we'll have to do the adjustment, but there will be a minor adjustment. So these overbought oversold levels will get tweaked a little bit, but nothing major that is likely. Okay, so this is the first part. Uh, Apart from that, as we know, I mean, all this data still remains the same, that if DIs are extremely long, and they're usually long, when there is a bottom. I mean, that is what the history has shown us, right? Even if you see, sorry, they're usually extremely long when there is a bottom. So, basically, if you see over here, okay, over here, it was maybe somewhere around these levels, and now somewhere over here. Okay, so broadly, these are all, I would say, I think it is looking good. And the good part is that, since last few days, at least the broader market is looking good. That is because I told you that the small cap was relatively strong. And if you see the breadth, okay, more or less they are towards the lower end of the range rather than upper end of the range. So this kind of gives them a room on the upside, to I mean, this simply means that there can be a breadth expansion that can happen. Similarly in 20-day, it is more towards the lower end of the range rather than upper end of the range. So it has room in that sense to go up, and the breadth should expand. That is what I would be thinking of. Yesterday, one more data point that I had mentioned to you all, that 26,000 was a very important zone. If you see, 26,000 has been respected, and in fact, there has been a massive put writing today. With this, the PCR has shot up to 1.27. Okay. So yes, in the near term, somewhere if it gets to around 1.4, 1.5, it becomes extremely overbought. But nevertheless, I mean, such a good base formation at the lower level is always a good sign. Now, immediate resistance on the derivatives level will be 26,500, but 27,000 is where the highest open interest is. So once 26,500 breaks on the upside, it should try and move to 27,000 levels. That is what the derivative data is indicating, and it tells us that 26,000 has a major put base which is there. Now, see, please remember one thing, and this is something that you should not forget, that we had broken out of this cup and handle pattern, after which there was a consolidation, right? So if this consolidation now breaks on the upside, then it should ideally be very bullish. Uh, Sorry. So, while we have a monthly negative close, the the bullish takeaway that I'm taking from it is that there has been a significant jump today that we have seen. See, whenever this happens, that a correction takes 4 days to go down, and within almost one day, 3-4 days of correction is covered. That is usually tells you the strength of the bulls that is there. Okay, and apart from that, there are many sectors that are now looking up. In fact, PSU Bank, I was frankly a little skeptical over here because the way it was behaving over here. But now, if you see, averages are broken on the upside. It has held this 50-day exponential average. So overall, it looks like a good position that PSU Bank is in. In fact, PSU has been a surprise. I mean, very nice move on the upside that we have seen in PSU today. The other thing, if you see oil and gas, I think I was checking that, and that was up almost around 3%. So because HP, BP, all were hitting new highs. So again, I mean, there is some positive momentum seen over here. And if you zoom out the chart, this would look like a cup and handle pattern, which has developed. Of course, I mean, to think of a major breakout, you would want this resistance level to be broken on the upside, which I think sooner or later it should do. That is because Nifty now seems to be looking up. The other one, I was checking through this and I found infrastructure interesting. Now there are two interesting things happening in infrastructure. One is that you can already see that there is a cup and handle pattern that was formed. After that, there was a breakout. Sorry, so there was a breakout over here, and then it went through a phase of consolidation, and now again it is trying to look up. So I'm frankly very hopeful of this as well, of infrastructure doing well. And the other thing which gives me a little further more confidence is the RRG, because if you see the RRG of infra on the weekly chart, it is encouraging. Mm, where has infra gone? Yeah. So this is infra. Okay. And just to give you a context, this is the tail of infra, right? You see over here, I mean, it had gone up, again fizzled. I mean, the momentum and relative strength was lost, but now, since the past 3 weeks, it is trying to make a comeback. So I'm frankly hopeful of that as well, because it is firstly towards the right hand side on the RS, and the other thing is that if you see the pattern also, it seems to be very encouraging, very much similar to the Nifty index. So over here as well, things look good. So if infra is looking good, then which are the stocks that can be that can do well? See, if I want to do a relative strength, this is how I'll do. I mean, let me just take Nifty infra. So Nifty infra, if I take, and you can see, HPCL. So mainly HP, BP, IOC. So it is PSU plus Reliance. That's why it had gone up. But yeah, basically, what I would want to also see is that, say for example, uh, say from this high, okay, that is 21st of October to this, so almost same level Nifty index is at, right? If I catch it from this high, right, that is 23rd October. So if I do this, firstly, metals, PSU, we just spoke about that, oil and gas, IT, these are all stocks that have done pretty well. Okay, these are all stocks that have done pretty well, and within infrastructure, oh shit, sorry. So yeah, you can see over here auto, and yes, by the way, auto is also good. I had seen the chart. I just forgot to discuss. Good, it came over here. Basically, in auto, what has happened is that there was a breakout from this falling trend line. Okay, it retested that. It's a classic technical pattern, right? Breakout, retest, and now again rising higher. And if you just zoom out a little bit, and you might end up seeing this as a small cup and handle pattern that seems to be developing, which has a very good chance of breaking on the upside. Why? Because it has been holding above this 40-day exponential, throughout this consolidation phase, and now it seems like the consolidation is over and it is looking up. So there are a lot of interesting sectors. In fact, if you see any sector, and more or less, this is what I was telling you, that you have to try and be with the outperformers if you're trading for the short term. That will help you to pick the winners. Whereas from a medium to long term perspective, maybe value buying or momentum investing, whatever is their style, you can find the stocks accordingly. But for the short term, chasing momentum always helps, because you want to be with the momentum, you want to be with the market. Okay, where is it going? So outperformers, as generally, it indicates that the strong will remain stronger and the weak will the weak will become weaker over a period of time, right? So that's why, chasing performance in the short term makes sense, and that's where, finding outperformers can be extremely helpful by using this heat map. So, which are the ones that are bad, which have not turned out to be well, reality, media, consumer durable, and so on, right? So these can be the ones, which can probably be avoided. And the ones which are above the top, and especially the top 4 or 5, where we have seen a very, very good move. Maybe those are the ones that you may want to keep an eye on, especially in the short term. Okay. So yeah, that's how I'm looking at it. That's how I'm looking markets right now. Let me know if y'all have anything to discuss. Trading Prabhu, let's not talk about Elliott Wave. Okay. I just don't want to mix it. Uh, I hope you understand. Invest with Divesh says, view in silver also strike me all NCDX. नहीं नहीं सो दिवेश जी स्ट्राइक में सिल्वर एडेड नहीं है, मतलब कमोडिटीज एडेड नहीं है, वी आर नॉट लुकिंग एट इट। मतलब स्ट्राइक में तो अभी नहीं है, एंड आई डोंट वांट टू डिस्कस गोल्ड सिल्वर ओवर हियर। आई मीन इट्स मोर ऑफ इक्विटी मार्केट, वेयर वी आर फोकस्ड ऑन। Ashwini Vakharia says, what or how will indicate or hint that liquidity is returning back and some uptick is. So, what will indicate that? I don't know. See, frankly, I am looking at the chart structure, and I'm just trying to believe what we are seeing in the prices, what the reality is, and that is what the collective market wisdom is. If there is a breakout coming over there, I would be positive about it. And see, again, like I mentioned yesterday also, okay, there is no one thing which you need should get fixated to. Okay, you need to see what is happening in the other indices as well to get a good sense about what is happening in the market. Just to give you an example, probably a week back, I was telling that 26,000 is an important support level. If that breaks, then it may not be very good, and so on. 26,000 did break, but in the next 2 days, we did not see a follow up selling. And on top of that, as I told you, in yesterday's session only, I discussed it, right? Many important support levels are being held for now. Micro cap was this. If you see Bank Nifty, this is like a favorite pattern, right? Up move, consolidation completes the RMI cycle, and from there is a buy. These are the kind of setups that we wait for. So broadly, if you see, while Nifty was breaking down, many other indices were at a key level, and had not necessarily given a breakdown. For example, even if you see the mid cap index, right? Mid cap index also, retraced 61.8% but from there it turned around. So the idea is not to get fixated to any level as such, but just get the sense of what is happening broadly, right? If we end up breaking this trend line again on a smaller time frame, on a very smaller time frame, it might look like a small cup and handle. And also, please don't forget, this is like a bigger cup and handle pattern which Nifty Midcap Index is forming. Now, you can say if this is forming or this has already been formed. If this has already been formed, then it might look like a breakout and then a consolidation. And now, after the consolidation, it is willing to go higher. So, as long as it is rising above, it is rising higher, Ashwini, and making higher highs, I would tend to believe that the trend is up. See, how do we judge whether the liquidity is back? I don't know. Unlike US, we don't have a lot of data. But anyways, what I have heard and read is that RBI is also injecting liquidity big time, and those are all an indication that the liquidity situation is good over here in India as well as in abroad. Please explain where can be used. See, NCTG, I made you understand yesterday as well. Last close means you want to see the data of yesterday. As simple as that. Okay. If I go to RMI, if I choose live, it means whatever signals that we are seeing is for today. Okay. Like you see over here, 3M India, it is happening today. This is what it tells us. Okay. By the way, this seems like a very good pattern, right? Up move consolidation, and there is a up move that is happening. So this is live. Now, the moment I say last candle close, it means we are talking about weekly. Now this, so let me just take it daily. By the way, this weekly buy means previous week. It gave a bullish signal which is over here, and that is why it has come over here. Okay. So last close means previous week, previous day, or previous month, whatever you are looking at. Okay, that is what it indicates. Now, wait, for daily, let me see which are new buys. Okay, now say for example this only, this AB COTS, whatever it is, it gave a bullish crossover yesterday, right? So that's why it has come in buy, because we are seeing last candle close. It means not today but last candle close. Where is it that the RMI signals are? So that is why it is. I hope you understand this, NCT. How to interpret option chain? Is it with spot or future, which shows on the top many times spot price is higher than? No. So spot price, so future price will always be higher than spot price, Dinesh. uh, we have to look at it from uh, futures point of view. See, why we have made it spot price is because and this we saw it actually on other platforms as well, and they are having this standard practice of considering spot price, because the weekly expiry happens around where the spot price is. Okay, I mean, the calculation is that spot price, then you see the difference of the ATM premium, and that's how the weekly expiry future price is selected, which is also called as synthetic price. So which is roughly somewhere around the place where the spot price are. So that's why we have changed it to ATM. But basically, if you see future price, it is 26,300. So now it would mean that around 26,500 when the future prices do reach. So over here, we are going to get some, resistance. So look at it from futures price. In fact, if you remember, yesterday when we were talking about it, future price was, I think, somewhere around 26,100, 130 or so. And I mentioned that there is still 130 points room left on the downside for the futures to break the 26,000 mark, right? But you saw that 26 ended up becoming like a rock solid support for the Nifty index, and from there we have seen a fabulous move today. So I hope that answers your question. It's mostly the future price that you have to look for the option chain. Okay, it's only when you're looking at the weekly expiry, that's where you have to look at the spot price, because the synthetic future prices is more or less where the spot prices are. Small cap monthly RMI and its previous last year trend. So I don't know, Rupani, what is the question? I did not get it. If you can be more precise with your question, Rupani, I'll try to answer it. But yeah, I hope, Dinesh, you understood, what I wanted to say about the future prices. Yes, small cap indicator on monthly chart. So I have put that. I mean, what exactly do you want to know? So let me just put it. And this I've done monthly chart. So now what exactly do you want to know? See, I have already told you, you RMI, you don't have to see it standalone. Okay, you have to always see it with respect to the price action as well. And you can see over here how nicely it is trending at the 40-month average, and that's a good sign, right? Uh, Now as the trend picks up, this will pick up and eventually get into the bullish mode. So far it's the mid cap index, small cap index seems to be in a consolidation mode, but you but wait for the confirmation on the weekly chart. And all, we had discussed this as well, that this was the lower end of the channel which the small cap did not reach, but was almost there, and it formed a hammer sort of pattern, and then from there it has turned around. In fact, this was like a long legged doji after that. So all it is telling you is that at the lower end there is buying that is coming in, and that is why we are seeing lower wicks at lower shadow, which is also called as wicks, at the bottom. That kind of suggests that each time it is trying to go, the bears are trying to push lower, there is some buying that is coming in. And broadly it has kind of, I think, retraced 50% of the entire move that we had seen, which again indicates that there is a healthy pullback that we have seen. So yeah, I think that is what it is. Just don't look at RMI standalone, look at how the price action is also behaving to get some insights. Any more questions you'll have? If not, then we can wind up the session for today. So yeah, it's been a very interesting, twist in the last day of the month. Frankly, I was not expecting, such kind of move, but it was almost at the point where, the entire uh, negative close. Negative close has come, but it has retraced significantly from the lows, and which is a very good point. And more importantly, it has given a very strong and a healthy close today. Okay, so I don't see any questions. So once again, I mean, it was a very good end to the year as well, and I hope that next year brings a lot of prosperity for all of you. And hope it turns out to be a good year, because the chart looks very promising, and it's, I think, just a matter of time now that 2600 gets decisively broken. And remember, I think once 26,300 breaks on the upside, the larger upside levels of 28,000 29,000 will open up. And this is not because just chart, but if you see many of the other sentiment data points, I mean, I have never seen sentiment being so bad when we are at the top, right? So that itself tells us that there are enough triggers for the market. I hope there can be a pre-budget rally, and not just that, in budget. In fact, there are some positive surprise. Then I think I won't be surprised, to see 28,000 29,000 coming soon. So let's see. I mean, my bias is bullish. I hope this today's gain that we saw, does not get wiped out by Monday or Tuesday. I'm just hoping that, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed. But the way all the data points are shaping up, it looks encouraging, and I'm hoping that sooner or later this breakout happens, and there is a much more broader and a wider participation that we see amongst the stock. Okay, so that's it from my side. Let's catch up tomorrow. I think mostly tomorrow also there will be a session. Let's catch up tomorrow. If at all, I mean, if you don't get any update tomorrow, then consider that the session is not there, but we'll try to keep it. Okay. Once again, thanks a lot for joining, and happy new year in advance, and hope you have a great 2026. Thank you.